All right, let's talk about something pretty much every developer goes through. Free cloud hosting. It sounds like a dream come true, right? But as so many of us have found out the hard way, there's a side to it that, well, it doesn't show up until it's way too late.
This just says it all, doesn't it? It's that awful feeling when the one thing that helped you get started suddenly turns into your single biggest headache. So, what's really going on under the hood?
I mean, this is the question that keeps you up at night, right? Your app's running smooth, you're finally getting some users, and then, poof, it's just gone. Silence.
Think about it. That viral moment, the one you've been working towards forever, it should be a party. But for so many startups, it turns into an absolute crisis.
And here's the real giveaway. The senior devs, the ones who've been around the block, they see something that the rest of us often miss. They know it's not about the price tag, it's about the real cost.
Okay, let's get into it. To really understand the traps, you have to understand the business model first. These massive cloud companies, they're not charities. They are running a very specific and honestly a very smart playbook.
And here is that playbook laid out. It's a classic funnel. Step 1, they get you hooked with an amazing, easy-to-use free product. Step 2, your project gets deeper and deeper into their special tools, their way of doing things. And then step 3, by the time you realize you should probably leave, the idea of moving everything is just, it's a nightmare.
And let's be super clear here. The business model itself isn't the enemy. It's just business. The real danger comes when we start thinking that free also means safe for production. They're two totally different things. So, how does this actually start to break your project? Well, it happens right here. See, the free tier works perfectly fine when you're the only person clicking around. But the second you get real traffic, these hidden traps, they start to go off, and they can absolutely kill your project's momentum.
To make free possible, these platforms basically cram hundreds, maybe thousands of free apps onto the same shared server. It's called multi-tenancy, and to make sure no single app hogs all the power, they put in these invisible rules. Things like CPU throttling, where they literally just slow your app down, or tiny memory caps. These things don't make your app crash while you're building it, they just make it painfully, frustratingly slow when real people are trying to use it.
And this right here, who hasn't said this? This is the sound of a developer smacking right into those invisible walls of the free tier. You think it's a bug in your code, but it's not. It's the platform gently reminding you that you're just visiting.
Let's talk about one of the biggest silent killers, the cold start. To save resources, free platforms literally put your app to sleep if nobody's used it for a few minutes. So when a new user shows up, the platform has to wake it all up again. And as you can see, those seconds feel like an eternity. 3 seconds, 5 seconds. By 10 seconds, that user isn't just impatient, they're gone. You really have to let this sink in. Speed isn't just a nice-to-have feature anymore. It is your credibility. A slow app doesn't just feel slow. To a user, it feels broken. It feels untrustworthy.
Okay, so now we get to the long game. This is where that initial convenience starts to become a huge strategic problem. We're talking about vendor lock-in and its evil twin, bill shock.
This slide just captures the trap perfectly. The exact things that make it so easy to get started, the one-click deployments, their custom setups, are the very same things that chain you to the platform. Your code starts to depend on their unique ecosystem, and trying to move it somewhere else suddenly feels like you have to rewrite the whole thing from scratch.
So, picture it. You've launched your side project, it's humming along, hosted for free, life is good. Your monthly bill is a big, beautiful 0. And then it happens. The dream. Your post hits #1 on Hacker News, or a TikTok about it blows up. The traffic is flooding in. This is it.
Nope. You wake up the next morning, and there's an email in your inbox. You flew past the free limits, and you've been automatically upgraded. Every extra CPU cycle, every gigabyte of data, you're paying for it. And somewhere in that long terms of service agreement you agreed to, it was all spelled out, this is your new bill. That's bill shock, and it's a founder's worst nightmare. So what's the real lesson here? The biggest financial risk to a new project isn't that something is expensive. You can plan for expensive. The real danger is something that's unpredictable, something that can jump from 0 to hundreds of dollars overnight and wipe out your budget before you even have your morning coffee. But okay, beyond the project and the money, there's another hidden cost, a cost to you and your growth as an engineer. Relying too much on these all-in-one platforms can leave some serious gaps in your actual skills. When the platform just handles everything with a magic button, you never learn what's actually happening underneath.
You get really good at building apps for that platform, but you don't learn how to actually run the systems that they live on. And believe me, in the long run, that knowledge gap can really limit where your career can go.
So, after all this doom and gloom, does that mean free hosting is bad? No, absolutely not. It's an incredible tool. The key is to stop seeing it as a destination and start seeing it for what it is, a strategic launchpad.
This is the smart way to do it. Use free tiers for what they are amazing at, testing ideas fast, spinning up demos and MVPs, and just learning how deployments work. But you always have an exit plan. You have to know from day one when you're going to need to graduate to a real, paid setup that gives you the control and the predictability you need.
And if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this. The tool itself isn't the problem. The danger is that it gives you a false sense of security. It makes your little project feel like it's production ready and ready to scale, when really, it's built on a foundation that has all these hidden limits and tripwires.
And let's just end on this thought right here. It's so simple, but it's so powerful. The moment you stop thinking of the cloud as this infinite, magical resource, and you realize it's just a physical computer in a warehouse somewhere, owned by another company with its own rules, everything about how you build software will change for the better.